energy, still illmatic. Take this energy and understand how the plan is incredibly young man. Every prime time legacy, pocket and juice to the rooftop deadly. Welcome to Sneaks, Rhymes, and Life with your host, the one, the only, Lionel K. McDonald Jr. Let's go! One, two, 1, 2. Welcome to another episode of Sneaks, Rhymes, and Life. So, taking a little bit of a break, but we're back again. And wow, has there been a lot. So, last episode really kind of touched in on rap being competitive sports. So, yeah, we had the Drake and Kendrick. You know, they've been trading bars for so many years now, subliminally. And then we had Drake and J. Cole make a song, first person shooter. Then we had on the feature Metro Booming track, like that, we had all of a sudden we had Kendrick Lamar show up on that track and definitely be very direct in firing back at both of them. So some time has passed. We definitely got then, which was exciting to see, a J. Cole track firing back at Kendrick. So I thought we were really in for something. Maybe we were going to get, some of the best lyricists of this generation kind of going back and forth, particularly J. Cole and Kendrick. It quite didn't happen that way. I think what really has come to life as we look at today, the aftermath of the Drake and Kendrick beef, that we can definitely see the tension is truly between Drake and Kendrick. And J. Cole, although he dropped the track, so much has changed. And it literally was 5-6 weeks ago. And J. Cole dropped this track. Days later, he was at a concert and he apologized for the track. And I remember I was so confused. Like, why would you apologize for a diss track when someone already went at you? But in the aftermath, a lot of it makes sense. Kendrick and Drake Kendrick and J. Cole have some mutual friends, and clearly seems that someone said, J. Cole, my friend, you need to kind of sit this one out and pull yourself, because it's about to get really ugly. And man, did it ever. That was the understatement. So it was a lot of confusion in J. Cole pulling his track, apologizing, removing it from all streaming platforms. It still shows that it's there on the album, but you cannot actually play it. Now, you can go to YouTube and the song is still readily available. And hey, it was a pretty good song. I don't think the disses were as scathing as we've seen in disses in the past, Hit 'Em Up, Ether, No Vaseline, nothing of that nature. But there were some good bars that were in there. Moving then forward, so and the world is reeling that J. Cole pulled himself out, then we're all waiting for Drake. Where's Drake? DJ Academics is asking, where's Drake? Finally, DJ Academics actually is the one that leaks it. But on the 19th, it hits all streaming platforms. It's called Push Ups. He makes fun of Kendrick's shoe size. He makes fun of him being short. Talks about how money gets split with Top Dog. He and Drake is like, essentially feels like Thanos in this one, because he goes at many other people: The Weeknd, Metro Boomin, Future, Rick Ross, etc. So there were a lot of buzz, and Drake was feeling pretty nice about himself. All of a sudden, only 5 days later, Drake does the unthinkable and fires another shot without getting a response from Kendrick. It's called a tailor-made freestyle. And there's some there were some bars in the previous song that how Kendrick loves to get on tracks with some of the most influential people in the world, including Taylor Swift. So this one was called the Taylor Made Freestyle. Taylor Swift actually had an album coming out literally at the same time, and out of respect, we knew that Kendrick was not going to respond, um, to not impact Taylor having the opportunity to go number one. But when I say he did the unthinkable, he went into the world of today's technology and was very creative and used rap voices of not only Snoop Dogg, who's alive and didn't authorize it, but he then also used Tupac Shakur. And that is really to get under Kendrick's skin. That's one of his best influence or biggest influencers in his life. Um, and he definitely got Kendrick's attention, and it definitely rubbed Kendrick to the point now that there's lots of conversations that are out there, but it seems like Kendrick went to the estate of Tupac and got them a cease and desist to get them to pull it down because they used Tupac in a way that was not approved by anyone. But if you're looking at a chess game and we're looking at how we make moves, definitely Drake made a point. He got under Kendrick's skin. So we're waiting. We're waiting. When is Kendrick going to respond? Fast forward to April 30th. Kendrick finally strikes back. And it took time. And there's lots of, I would tell you that this was the best diss song, maybe since Story of Adonis, maybe Back to Back. But it's like a 6 minute song that Kendrick does called Euphoria. And he says so many different things. He doesn't let J. Cole off the hook. Second verse is amazing because he actually raps in J. Cole's cadence and almost tries to change his voice. And that's one of the great and unique things about Kendrick Lamar, that his voice inflection and how he delivers himself is one of the best in hip hop history. He sounds like sometimes we've had MCs like Redman and others play multiple personas, and I K Dot does it as well as anyone. So he has some amazing lyrics in this song and definitely goes hard at Drake. And people are excited. People are just thrilled that now we have the battle us on. Like we got one verse out of that, the track, the Metro Booming and Future track like that. We never got a whole song from Kendrick, and it's a 6 minute song, four different verses. He talks about so many things, him being a pedophile to him being a master manipulator. That there's so many things that Kendrick just absolutely goes for Drake's neck in that one song. But did we know that if we're talking about the game of chess, Kendrick had some of his own moves up his sleeve? So only days later, 4 days later, another diss track comes out from Kendrick, 616 in LA, and that is unique because Drake has so many songs with a title in the title that has a timestamp. 616 is also Father's Day, and one of the big disses out of Euphoria is that he's a deadbeat dad, um and he brings up to light that he was hiding Adonis, like Pusha T had brought out ultimately. So in from Euphoria now um to now 16 in LA, there's so much that is said. He hates the way that he walks, he hates the way that he dresses, he hates he hates how he sneak this is like there's so many things that he says. He talks about how he's got people in OVO that don't even want to work for him. um Drake is better when he makes dance records, or he makes makes music for the clubs versus trying to battle. So there is so much that is said, um, that happens. So this is May 3rd that this or that comes out. Later on May 3rd, then we go into the third diss track from Drake called Family Matters. And this may be the best song that Drake created in this entire battle. He still is still playing the Thanos role and still takes shots at Metro Booming, The Weeknd, and Rick Ross. Um, ASAP Rocky gets a shot as well. In Euphoria, there's a shot that Kendrick takes regarding New Ho King and is referencing it, which is a restaurant here in Toronto. Um, why does Drake decide to film part of the video for Family Matters uh, at New Ho King? And there's lots of things that are said um, in in this song, Family Matters, but he really goes. This was the warning that he was saying back on push-ups that I have the time bomb. If you want to continue this beef, I will bring it out. And he brings it out. He talks about Kendrick being a deadbeat dad, he not living with his kids, that Dave Free that's in his camp may have fathered one of his kids, um, his wife Whitney, they're separated and about to be divorced because Kendrick has been beaten her. And these are all allegations. So I think that's just one thing we have to kind of realize that there is there's a lot there that is not quite proven yet. So, but literally, I think they said 32 minutes later, um, Kendrick drops another song. So how does this guy have another song ready? Kendrick has been putting in work, and Kendrick also, says way back on Euphoria says, if you stop telling lies about me, I will not tell truths about you. So he continues to call Drake also a deadbeat dad. He, brings up Adonis again. Um, and what is so sinister about the track Meet the Grams, it's four verses, and he talks, actually maybe it's five verses, because he talks, first verse is for Adonis and talks about, you know, befriending Adonis because his dad has been so bad to him. Calls him a gambler, a cheat, he's terrible with women and da 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 da. And then he talks to his parents, both of Drake's parents. Then he talks to the claim that Drake has another child, an 11-year-old daughter. And so the bars on this are just, they're incredible, but also this is the bomb that Kendrick has been holding in his back pocket. Now he's pulled the pin to this grenade and released it, and then he talks directly to Drake at the end of the track. So we are wilding now in the hip hop culture. Who's winning, who's not, who's got the best song. Kendrick's not done, if you can believe. The next, literally later on that day, and he drops another song, which is Not Like Us. And DJ Mustard gets on the beat for this song. And it's absolutely, it's probably the most, how would I say, this is the one that people will be playing for a long time. The beat is great. There's so many things that are in the track, Ovi Ho, and that there's just so many catchy bars that are in it, um, that that he's got in it, and the way he says they not like us over and over again. There's so many things that will definitely stay in people's minds. Um, so Drake is reeling. Drake eventually comes back the following day. So now we're at May 5th. And Drake, essentially tries to debunk a bunch of the things that is credited, that is said by that is said by Kendrick. And you know, doesn't he says that you do not talk about any of the allegations about Date Free and the kids, and then you're separated. Um, and then ultimately, he tries to really, create some uncertainty, and this is, at a point where you can feel Drake. Now, would he say that he's waving the white flag? He made a joke about the track that in all of this beef, other people started to step up. We had a Champagne Moments by Rick Ross. He had a song, it was okay. Kanye decided to step in the arena. That was probably the worst song related to this whole beef. But Drake is kind of trying to step away and go on vacation, as he's calling it, and he doesn't need to talk about it anymore. And hey, I planted the information that there's an 11-year child. You took the bait. So he's trying to put the heart part six, and he called the heart part six because essentially this ruins Kendrick's theory, because I think Kendrick was at like the heart part five. That's the one he uses the likeness of Nipsey Hussle and Kobe and others in that video. That was like pre Mr. Morale, but yeah, so we're all left in the aftermath. There hasn't been a song now in a couple weeks. I don't think we're gonna get a track, beyond this. But I think, where does that leave us? Where does that leave us? Kendrick, a week later after the last song, They Not Like Us or Not Like Us goes to number one. Kendrick now has two of the five or two of the five best streaming songs that are out there right now. Good Kid, Mad City is now is still in the top five for streaming albums. It's one of the most. These guys have kind of gone back and forth on Billboard and who is the most streamed album. They Not Like Us or Not Like Us is the most streamed song in a 24-hour period in the history of the digital world. I think it was like over 2 million streams, or maybe I'm even underestimating it. But this beef, it seems like it's come to an end. But who won? If I think we talk about who had the best bars, and I think, from a hip hop standpoint, I think I have to commend them both. Lyrically, they got after it. There's obviously ghostwriting allegations that Drake didn't write everything, or he never has written anything, and Kendrick definitely calls him out on that throughout the course of this beef. But at the same time, we have two guys that have really energized hip hop and made obviously lots of conversations like I'm having today on the beef. Same time, I think, bringing the kids and the parents and the significant others into this arena, I think it's damaged credibility for both of them. Can you imagine young Adonis having to hear about a beef that his dad had on wax and is now going to be, infamous, that he's going to have to accept. So there's a lot like that, and again, Drake, addresses on the hard part six that he still hasn't said anything about his relationship with his wife, divorced wife, estranged wife, whatever this. We don't even know. We don't even know how many of these are actual facts or actually the truth. But for the families to be involved, is somewhat tragic. There's a lot of things that can be said, but we didn't have to go to the families. Same time, credibility, I think, for Kendrick has been damaged. Obviously, being involved in domestic disputes that definitely will negatively impact fans, people that he's collaborated with. Although he's very popular right now, I think as time tells, I think people will come to their senses and get beyond the music and really think about what is actually happening, if any of it's true. And this may, damage his business moving forward. We definitely know that it's damaged Drake's business as we kind of look at his deal with Nike. And I think there's lots of underworkings that why the beef had to either pause or come to a complete end. Nike's worried about their financial investment that they have hundreds of millions of dollars tied back to um, product, and Drake is a part of the brand, so that there is that, and he has a significant contract with Nike. So is that in jeopardy if the things continue to come out and negatively impact Drake? I think Drake ultimately he lost on Wax. His second verse on Meet the Grams is probably his best verse. Um, Kendrick probably has the best song. He definitely has the song that will have the most longevity, and it ends up being the last one he releases, Not Like Us. Um, and I think overall Kendrick's songs will be played a lot longer than Drake's songs. Like people, I don't know if people are really going to be playing Push-Ups or Family Matters, but people not like us and like that, people are going to be still playing. They'll play first person shooter for Drake and J. Cole because that was a smash last year. But there's a significant impact for both of these artists, short term and longer term. Kendrick is rumored to have an album. This is obviously going to definitely impact positively his streams. But Kendrick is a man and as a family man, and in trying to, work through other future deals, this being attached to him, I think, Drake being called, so many different, things and how he treats women. I think people will look twice in how they collaborate him. But, same time, we thought everything was over. And even, Metro Boomin decides to come out with a song called BBL Jersey, and there's no rapping on it. He encouraged people to rap on it. Because there's accusations that Drake got a BBL and Drake's had so many different surgeries. Rick Ross he's had like this stomach surgery. He got his nose changed because it's not like his dad's. But funny thing is, Drake last week, Sexy Red has an album now that just came out, and he hopped on a track, and the beat flipped to BBL Drizzy, and he flew it over the zone. So almost to debunk the whole track that was out there. So there's a lot that's out there, and I think there's still a lot of people thinking about what happened. I think Kendrick won on Wax. I even heard Common and Pete Rock talking about it, and it was good for hip hop. But the impact on the families and the business ventures moving forward um, could be a detriment to both of them, moving forward. But that's kind of the beef in a nutshell. Tell us what you think. Tell us who you think won. Tell us whether you're hoping that there's going to be another song. Do you think Kendrick's going to address it on his upcoming album? I think Drake's going to lay low for a while and let things kind of blow over. But definitely both guys, as Drake said, got the pen working. Rap is competitive. It was kind of good to see these guys get after it, but I think sometimes things go a little too far. And I think, in retrospect, we were all on J. Cole's neck for bowing out, but to see how personal it got and to see the damage that it could have done and the rift that it could have created longer term within the music industry. J. Cole if he wasn't about that smoke, then it was best to he probably got too influenced too quick to write that song. And that's why he did a walk away, and it set up a beef that people will be talking for some time. People still talking about Pusha T and Drake, or Meek Mill and Drake. And Drake is the one that seems to have yeah, a target on him, but definitely the the most recent beef here with Kendrick Lamar is one to think about. So that's all we got. Thanks for listening to Sneaks, Rhymes, and Life. We out. Peace.